What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the Chicken Pod Podcast. My name is Michael Smith.
And my name is Tavon.
And welcome back to the Chicken Pod Podcast. Now, the last episode we talked about waifus and cartoons, and this time, it is time for the ultimate anti-hero list. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about villains, talk about heroes, and talk about all this stuff and whatnot, but I feel like not enough people talk about the anti-heroes as much, and this one has over 100 anti-heroes that we're all going to talk about now, and we're going to be pretty much placing them on the list and where we think they should be on the list and whatnot. And obviously, we both share the same list, so we both have to come to a compromise and see where we're gonna place them on the list, basically. And I think this one is going to be really interesting. So I'd say we should start off with the first one. Pretty sure we both know this character, Blackfire from Teen Titans. What are you thinking right now?
Black Star. I feel like she was crazy. She was crazy over Robin, but she didn't really feel like a legitimate anti-hero to get ultimate anti-hero tier on the list, because I feel like it was just mostly all for Robin's sake.
I'm trying to think, like, how many episodes was she in? Because I only remember, like, one episode, but I feel like she was in more than one. I know she was probably in more than one, because she seemed like she was in more than one episode, but I just remember the one episode she came in and she was like, everyone liked her more than Starfire, and like Starfire got jealous and whatnot, and then like you see that was like her plan and whatnot to pretty much like make them love her more than Starfire and whatnot. I mean, she wasn't bad, but I do get what you're saying with about she wasn't like a top tier anti-hero when it came to like what her character really. So right now I'm thinking like maybe C. Like, what are you feeling right now?
He said maybe a D.
I was thinking like C or D, but if you're feeling like which way are you leaning toward?
I'm feeling the D route.
D route, yeah. I think that's fair, because there really isn't that much to her character I really like remember that much about, or really like that really stood out to me in comparison to all the other anti-heroes that I know. All right, so next up on our list we have Claire Stedfield from Bakano. Now, did you watch Bakano? I assumed you did.
See, I did, but the only problem is I watched it like a long time ago. But I only remember. Okay. I remember the guy more than I do the.
Okay. So just to give you some sort of rundown from like what you remember, don't remember, or whatnot, is that like Claire Stedfield, like on the train, the Flying Pussyfoot, but there was like this railroad killer and whatnot who was like killing criminals on the train and whatnot. And the reveal was basically, because at the time, like, this dude was he was like one of the waiters there, and it was revealed that he was the murderer in the railroad train and whatnot. And for me personally, like his demeanor once he found out, because like legit, like usually when it comes to me figuring out like who like a certain character is, whenever there's like a mystery character, usually I know who it is. I legit was shocked when like it was like this dude and whatnot, and when he came through as like the railroad killer and whatnot, when like his like demeanor changed, and like he like was somewhat of like a psychopath, but was like an understandable psychopath for why he was like hunting down these criminals and whatnot. I thought it was a really cool character. So like I wouldn't say he's like an S tier, but I'd say he would at least be like, I think B would be fair enough. Like, but what would you say you're feeling right now? Because I'd say B would be fair enough.
Okay, that's fair. You said B as in boy or D as in dog?
B as in boy. Yeah, B.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So now this one is going to be, I'm very curious about this. I don't know what your opinion is going to be, but we have Hay from Darker Than Black.
I feel like he was at least.
I
feel like he was at least A tier.
See, I think that too, but also you gotta remember like season 2 of Darker Than Black.
That didn't exist.
And
that didn't exist.
Like, it did exist, Tavon. So you have to put that in consideration. So with that being said, if it was just season 1, 100% A tier. Like legit, I cosplayed as this dude. I legit has mask and everything. So 100%, it does. You have like putting season 2 in consideration. Like I would at least say a B tier just for that season alone, for like how they did kind of put down his character some, because like they didn't have to go that route where like they end up making that like girl the main character and like having him just pretty much be like homeless kind of. And it wasn't terrible. Like I've seen worse debunks of characters, but like it was a weaker version of what he was in the past and what he was in season 1. So for that, I personally would say B tier. But what would you say, dude? What do you say?
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument.
Okay. Because I'm not saying Trash Can at season 2, but I still say like he kind of went down at least 1 rank due to season 2. All right. So now we have Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. Ooh. I mean, me personally, like when it came to Cowboy Bebop, even though I know a lot of people love the show, I thought the show was okay, but I say like the one thing that I would at least say about Cowboy Bebop from like the show and the movie is that like I thought Spike Spiegel was a cool character. I thought like from like the way he like from his fighting style, I love his fighting style. I like this character and I like just his demeanor in general. Like I'd say like for me, I'm like debating on like an S or an A, but like where would you say you're like leaning right now?
I'm feeling like an A right now, but that's mostly because I like his rival more. Vincent was more of an S for me, so I'd say give him an A. Put him on the A tier, but
okay.
But our mind could change around the end of the list as well. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I got no complaints with that. Okay. This one I got some feelings for. All right, Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic. See, Shadow's had a very like interesting development, because from the beginning, he had one of the best introductions out of any Sonic character, but then he also made Shadow the Hedgehog the video game, and that was just one of the most edgiest video games I've ever played. But I would at least say because even after that game, he was still a pretty good character, but I wouldn't say I'd go at least B tier, but what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I'd give him a B tier.
Yeah. It might get changed. Right now, I'm just thinking B, because like I didn't have any complaints after, like, because Shadow the Hedgehog was like the only thing that kind of gave me a poor taste. But yeah. Besides that, I think B was fair. All right. I'm curious about what you think of this one. Bakugo from My Hero Academia.
I felt like he was more of a trash can for me. He just wasn't the character I was expecting him to be. I don't know, most of the time he was like angry for no reason, and he was just always like over the top obnoxious and whatnot, and he always wanted his way with certain things. Or at least with Todoroki, at least his methods were at least understandable. But for Bakugo, I've never really had a time I wanted to be on his side for anything.
Like, I always felt like, cause the thing is, like a lot of people like comparing with Vegeta, and I feel like that's somewhat disrespectful. Cause at least like with Vegeta, whenever he did get angry or pissed off, there was always reason behind that, and there was always things you could understand of why he got a certain way about a certain thing or whatnot, why he betrayed the group, why he would kill this person, why he did this, why he did that. He always had some reason. Even if they did come off as dumb, they still were like still pretty understandable and good reasons. But with Bakugo, one, he's angry all the time, and Vegeta had times where he wasn't angry, but with Bakugo, he's angry all the time. And I always feel like there's nothing that I ever understood from his anger. Like, I never understood why he was angry. I always thought that, like, oh yeah, maybe if we like got more insight on his family or his backstory, then maybe I'll understand why he would have these anger issues and why he would always be like angry and have this kind of selfish demeanor about himself. But then like we got to meet his family and they seem like pretty normal people, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this kid then? Why is he angry all the time? Like, I don't get it. So yeah, I would probably agree with you. I would probably say trash can as well. Like, I never understood why Like I don't really even understand the popularity of Bakugo. Now I will say he does get somewhat better in the manga, but from anime wise, just from every demeanor, I don't get it. I don't get his character whatsoever. All right, but now we have I don't remember his name, but this was Bishamon's
Kazuma?
right here. Oh, him? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, Kazuma. Yeah. That's his name. Okay. Yep, from Noragami. It's been a minute, but I remember he was a really good character in Noragami. The way he was like had a really good loyalty towards Bishamon was really good. I felt like he was a really good right hand man. But what are you thinking?
I feel like he deserved to be up here in the A tier list because I feel like he was a good right hand man, and he also carried a lot of burden with him as well with what happened between Yato and Bishamon, and then when he finally owned up to like his mistakes, that he like also asked Yato to kill the whole clan, and also that and also how much he grew in the manga as well, to how he had to help Yato as well, that he gave up something important, which I can't like reveal because I know you haven't read the manga yet.
I mean, like I said, we won't go by manga though. But anime wise, would you still say that A tier is deserving and whatnot?
Yeah, I still say he's A tier.
Okay. All right, fair enough. You make good points anyway, because I was just wanted to make sure of that. All right. Yeah, I think that's fair because he was like, and from what I remember and what I did see, I thought that I really did think he was like really a really good character. All right. Bigby Wolf from The Wolf Among Us. Whew. Now, from the way I played, I feel like and the one thing that I did like from The Wolf Among Us is that I felt like Bigby Wolf was the best character for a choice-based game because of the character himself. Because with Bigby Wolf, obviously he's the big bad wolf, and he did a lot of terrible things in the past. It makes sense for him to be in a choice-based game like that because it's understandable because you understand the baggage that this dude has. He did a lot of terrible and shitty things in the past. He legit ate people and actually like killed a bunch of people in the past and did a lot of terrible things. But at the same time, like, you can understand both sides of his character because you can understand both sides of whether or not what choice he wants to make, because like you understand like whether or not like if he wants to be like as bad as everyone thinks he is because everyone already thinks he's a piece of shit anyway, or he wants to become a better person than what he is because like he wants to show the world that he's not the same person that he was before. That I felt like his character really did have a lot of intrigue to me and like the way I played his character, it like I really liked the way I played his character. And like even if I played him differently, I felt like no matter what choice I even saw anyone else made, whether or not I saw them play it this way or that way, whether he's more of a good person, whether he's more of a bad person, whether he's like in between and whatnot, because I played him very in between, that I felt like he was such an understandable character because of all the baggage he weighed and whatnot and all of the things that he went through, that like I thought he was like a really top tier character. For me, I actually think personally I would say he's an S tier character, because like I felt like no matter when it came to like the way he portrayed himself and the way he like looked at like the people around him, that like he just wanted a peace of mind, but no one ever gave him that satisfaction because of his past. But what would you say about that? What would you say your
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'd say he deserves the S tier.
Okay. All right. So now we have what was this dude's name from Bleach? If not, everyone's gonna remember what he said. Tagane?
That's what I thought his name was.
Okay, we're just gonna assume Tagane. But but from everything I do remember from his character, I did think he was a cool character and whatnot. That being said, I don't think he would be S tier or A tier unless you convince me. Unless you convince me he could be an A tier at least, but I not see S tier whatsoever. But like, where are you leaning towards?
I feel like he's more B tier, B material.
B tier material.
Yeah.
I think because like I did like his character, and there was nothing that like I have any complaints about. There's nothing I have against him. So I think B would be fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right. I forgot. I was about to say Marco, but no, Marco was the main character. Tom. Yeah, Tom from Star vs. the Force of Evil. This one's an interesting one because it started off with his jealousy towards Marco because like he stole Star from him and whatnot, and him trying to get Star back. But then he actually did end up becoming friends with Marco at the end. That like it's I feel like he was a good character, but I feel like he's the same where he wouldn't be good enough to go from like an A or an S. But like I'm like thinking of between like a B or a C right now. Where are you leaning towards, Tom?
I'd say make him a C.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, like what'd you think about Tom? Just like all like
I thought he was
he had some okay moments in this show, but
yeah,
he didn't really like stand out to me. It's like
yeah, there was not like a really like standout point to really like hit you, right? All right. Okay. Now I don't know about you, but I always say like for me like I'd say Clementine is an S tier. But like if there's any complaints about that or any other like what do you have to say to that? Because right now I think she's 100% top tier. Because for me I think she makes up the Walking Dead games for me, and I felt like her development throughout the series and like everything she went through, I felt like was the most authentic characterization I've seen in a video game. Like for me, she's like top tier right off the bat for me. But what
I feel like it's deserved. I feel like she deserved the S tier. I mean, I liked her growth throughout the game. I mean, when you think of the Walking Dead video games, you think of her. You definitely don't think of the kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was just like, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I was somewhat irritated with season 3 of The Walking Dead, because like she wasn't really the main character. Where I'm just like, the reason why we played was because of her, because of everything we went through and whatnot. So I was like, it's just like I didn't get that. But thankfully played her at the end of in the last season, because that made it a little bit better. But anyway, Cree from Codename Kids Next Door. And I forgot about her, but I remembered. I was like, wait a minute, I forgot about her. But like I remember like she was an interesting character from Codename Kids Next Door, because she was one of the few, because for a long time it was usually just like, oh yeah, like the evil adults versus the villains and whatnot, where she was the in-between like teenager who was number 5 sister and whatnot. And she had a really cool design in the way she was like, the way her character was and whatnot. But like from what I remember and whatnot. But what do you say? What do you think?
I'd put her in the C tier. I'd say she was a good anti-hero.
C tier? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
The kids next door run for their money at times.
Yeah. That's why I feel like she actually did like seem like fair enough like anti-hero and whatnot. All right. Kenpachi from Bleach. What do you think of this one right now?
I'd say he deserved an S tier.
Yeah, because I was debating on S or A, and depending on what you were saying, I was just like, because I really got no complaints with either or position, considering they're like Kenpachi. I feel like for me, he really is like one of the embodiments when it came to like being like an anti-hero. Really, he was just like, I thought like straight up he was a really good anti-hero, because a lot of things he did could be questionable as villainous, but at the same time you understood his ways and the reason he was and whatnot. He wanted a good fight, he wanted a good challenge or whatnot, and he didn't care like how he got it. He just wanted that, and I felt like 100% deserved. All right. Rock from Black Lagoon. Now I don't know like first I know you watched Black Lagoon, but it's like a blur to you from like what you remembered or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I know he has some speeches from time to time, but it's mostly a blur.
Yeah, because things with him, like I feel like for me, I think he deserves an A tier just for the fact that like I thought he was going to be a very generic main protagonist like we've seen in like a bunch of different animes and whatnot. But what I did like about him is that like I felt like his development throughout the show, especially around Revy from Black Lagoon, I felt like he really did become a really intriguing character by the end of the series, because he was kind of like that generic businessman, and then once he joined Revy's crew, he really became his own and became the mouthpiece for the crew and whatnot, and legit he would be the one that ended up getting them out of situations and whatnot, and he was the one that really like that made Revy see differently throughout the world and whatnot, because even though Revy was a savage and whatnot, she really didn't think that much about humanity. He was the one that really like made her think differently about people and whatnot, and how the way like people are and whatnot. Like, oh yeah, just because he was like he worked at an office doesn't mean that like, oh yeah, like he worked at an office and he didn't like live the same lifestyle that Revy lived, that like it doesn't mean that like he wasn't treated like shit as well. He was treated shit, but in a completely different way. Like everyone in that office and whatnot was like he was a nobody there, and he was like treated like he was just somebody's whipping boy. It was like he was a like they were both slaves but in a completely different way. And Rock really made me with the speeches that he made. He really was like he really did convince me enough to like to be like a really good character. So for me, I'd say A. So what do you think?
Well, for a quick question though, would you put him over Levy, or would you put Levy over him though before you put him in A tier?
See, I'd say they're about. I mean, spoiler alert before we get to Revy, but I'd say they're about like, for me, I think they're like half and half. Cause I feel like they're both two different sides. I feel like one's a chaotic anti-hero and one's more like a lawful anti-hero. Like I feel like Rock's more of the lawful anti-hero who's like more of the mouthpiece, and the one with like the speeches who can like talk their way out of a situation. And Revy's Revy's the chaotic side of that, where like she's the muscle, she's the gun, she's the one that will go gun ho and like deals with the situation not with her mouth but with her guns basically and whatnot. But that's where I see it. But what do you think?
Okay, I'd put him in A tier.
Okay. All right. Trafalgar Law for One Piece. Now character-wise and everything, I really loved everything about him. For me, he ended up being my favorite character in the entire show. So for me, like it would be an easy S tier. But like, what do you think for him before I would like go for an S tier? Do you think he deserves that, or do you think like there's any complaints of anything of any of the sorts before I get there?
Yeah. I can't find him. I give him an S. I mean.
Okay. Because I was gonna debate a few things, but then like I was just thinking, I know for me, like I never had like, for me, there were a lot of things of Trafalgar Law that I liked the most. I felt like even when the show, like depending on the arcs, got like really kind of I felt like Trafalgar Law was still somewhat. I felt like he was still somewhat entertaining. I still somewhat got something out of like some of the things that he did and whatnot. So I'd still say like S for me at least. But all right. Kogami from Psycho Pass. See, from the season he was in, which was just the one, even though I wish he was in season 2, he really did. And maybe it was a good thing he was in season 2, considering how season 2 was. But maybe season 2 was maybe the reason season 2 didn't do well was because he wasn't in it. But like from season 1 with Kogami and whatnot, I felt like he was.
A-tier?
I really liked this character. Yeah, I'd say I was thinking A tier. So yeah, I'd say it and whatnot, because like he had that he had really good reasons for what he did and whatnot. And like there was a part of me that was somewhat caught off guard when he did end up killing the dude who killed his partner at the end, because like I thought, because I there was a part of me that thought they were gonna go that route where it's just like, no, killing is wrong, you shouldn't do it and whatnot. And the fact that he, even at the end of all of that, even after like the female tried to like stop him and whatnot, he still went with it, and he said like, he still had like, I'm not letting that slide. He still killed him at the end of the day, and then he ran away and then ran off. I still thought that like really did catch me off guard. So I'd say an A tier is deserved. But all right. Anyway, let's get to the next one. All right, Saikuna from Jujutsu Kaisen. So this one's interesting because this one's new. So from what I've seen of him, he is an interesting character. But what would you say you're feeling right now from what you saw?
I'm feeling a B right now, only because I want to see
more
them do something more with him where he gets his own arc. Because I mean, he's popped up here and there, but he hasn't had like his own. He still looks like he has more plans for this character.
Yeah.
To put him higher on the list.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with that. I'd say B is fair now. Depending on what they do later on, he could end up higher, but for now I'd say B. B is definitely fair. All right. Louis from Beastars. See, I know me and you might have different takes, considering that you saw season 2, so I don't know how he is there. But from season 1, I thought he was a really interesting character and whatnot. Even when he was kind of a dick, he had his reasons for why he why he acted the way he acted and whatnot. But on the tier list side, I'm thinking a B, but what are you feeling right now?
I'm trying to debate between S and A.
Oh, really?
You know what? I'll give him a. We gotta put him in S tier.
In S?
We gotta put him in S tier.
Wow. Like, what would you say without spoiling anything? Like, what makes you feel like he's an S tier?
His growth in season 2, and his own motives, and how he just, I just felt like he deserved to be an S tier.
Okay. See, it's hard because I haven't.
They did a lot more with him than I expected.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, all right. Joel from The Last of Us. See, he was definitely one of the best. We can just now the way he did in Last of Us 2 is still like screwed up. But I mean, it wasn't his fault.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Last of Us 2.
It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. Like looking at it that way.
Remember, hey, we had to count season 2.
Yeah. I'm saying we count it. But the thing is, how do you count that though? How do you count? Like, spoiler alert! Like if you don't want no one gets spoiled for Last of Us Part 2. Like clearly, like we'll probably be talking about this for like a minute, so you just skip like 1 minute in. But 3, 2, 1, him getting killed off in like The Last of Us Part 2. Like how do you count that for like him? Because not like he did anything bad in The Last of Us 2. He just died. That's the thing. And like, and the thing is, there's a few characters in the show that died. There's a few characters on this list that died as well. So like,
but he didn't get a good death though. It was just, what's your name? You're a Jewel.
All right, for the unnecessary death, I'm thinking at least maybe an A tier. Because I was thinking like, because the thing is, in The Last of Us 2, he was a really good character, and he completely did think with an anti. He was one of the most realistic characters in the entire series and whatnot. He wasn't thinking good or bad. He just thought what was right for the cause and whatnot. And his relationship with Ellie was really good and whatnot. Like it was just like what are you thinking right now? Because I'm still thinking at least A for me. So what are you?
Yeah, we'll just give him an
A. Okay. Still fair enough. All right. Sugashima from Haikyuu. I mean, I'm kind of from the development and everything from and just because season 3 is still in my head after what happened and the fact I gave that 10 out of 10, I'm fine with giving him an S for that, because he really did develop as a really good character. So like, what are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling the S.
Yeah, because I got no complaints and whatnot on the thing is, I feel like with season 2, I might have just given him like an A or a B, but season 3, when he really became the MVP and really like showed out during that whole arc and whatnot, he really like, yeah, I got no complaints. I got no complaints with that. All right. Squidward tentacles from SpongeBob. Now, here's how I see it from this perspective. As a kid, there are things that did irritate me about Squidward and whatnot. There were some funny moments and whatnot, but like, there is the one thing I can at least say about Squidward, especially as growing up, is how realistic he is as a character, and how he, because all he wanted to do was become a successful clarinet player, but it just didn't work out for him because he sucked at playing the clarinet. So he just had to end up working at like this fast food restaurant and basically just like not having his career go his way and whatnot. And it kind of is looking at it now. Look at, like, when we look at SpongeBob, we see it as in a comedic way, but looking at it from that perspective, it kind of is somewhat sad in a way. But like, for me, like Squidward, and just for like some of the funny moments as well, like I'm at least thinking like maybe a B. But what are you thinking for Squidward? I know it's an interesting look on him, but yeah, technically he is an anti-hero from the way he is. But like, what are you thinking for him?
Yeah, I'd say B.
Okay. Now, this one's going to be interesting as well because I really did like this character in season 1. But I know you saw season 2. But Ray from The Promised Neverland. What are you feeling about him? Just from before I like get my take from someone who's seen season 2. Not by the show, but by him as a character. What do you feel without spoiling anything?
I don't know. I think they all fell off the map for me.
They all fell off in season 2.
I fell in trash can.
Really? You're feeling trash can? Because
It
for
ain't
me,
the
in season 1, Ray was such a good character. Because I was debating on like a B or an A, but you're legit going all the way to trash can? Like, I would at least say like a C or a D just for this. For like, I ain't season 2, but like, I'll at least go for at least one of those. At least. Because character at least.
He ain't gonna regret.
Because at least for that. Unless he really he really fell off, but I would at least say like I would at least compromise with a D at least. With a D.
They all fell off. Norman, him, Emma, they all fell off the map.
Like I at least just because of how good season 1 is, I at least, even if I saw season 2, I still couldn't see him that much for trash can. So I'll still at least say like a D or a C. But what are you thinking right now? I'll let you turn between one of those two. We can make it D, but I still wouldn't say trash can.
We could give him a C.
Just for what he did in season 1. Because he did have a lot of good moments where you found out he was the traitor, and when he had that moment where he legit had that like crazy suicidal moment where he like poured the gasoline on his head and almost lit himself up and blew up the house. There's like those moments still, like, even if I did see season 2, I can't forget about those moments. I gotta at least put him in like a D or a C, even if he does fall off in season 2. All right, this dude from Zenki no Terror, I could put him in trash can. I mean, how are you thinking about him? This is someone I feel like is well deserving, because I couldn't stand any of it. They were just, they had mystique to them, but it was like the type of mystique where like, it was, it wasn't the type of mystique that was like, oh yeah, so like, oh, what could this character be? It was more like, what is he? Like, I don't really care. Like, it was just like, it was that type of mystique that just didn't make me care about the character. It was almost like, it was almost like a John Walker thing from IT Invaded, where it was like, they had this whole mystique, but it was like, I don't care, really. It was just like, the way you're thinking. Top tier, A tier, what do you feel about it?
Trash can.
Yeah, of course, alright. Okay. Bishamon from Noragami.
I said she's up there with Kazuha.
You said, yeah, I was already thinking like A tier anyway. But yeah. Alright. Yeah, I'd say it's fair. Yeah, I definitely put her A tier or whatnot. Alright. Now, it is curious considering that you've actually been like starting to play, like, you haven't played all the other games so far, but you have enough to at least get somewhat of a grasp of the character or whatnot. Ada Wong from the Resident Evil series. For me, I'm already telling you how I feel about her. S tier right off the bat. But from the 2 games that you played so far, what are you feeling about her so far?
I was leaning more towards like a B, but if something happened in the later games, I don't see why not put her on.
I mean, how are you feeling about her as a character thus far from like everything?
I mean, I like her. I mean, she's interesting.
I mean, like anything character-wise, just like you just like her and that's it. That's just.
I mean, I just feel like I haven't seen enough of like her motives yet, because we haven't got to that part in like where like see her do her own thing and like.
Okay. You know, I mean, fair enough. Because you haven't gotten that. Because what have you seen of her in Resident Evil 4?
I mean, she showed up in that building. But we haven't got to like her backstory of what made her
is that the only part you've seen?
Basically.
Oh, that's the only moment you've seen of her already. Okay, never mind. All right, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot more moments of her in the game and whatnot. And on top of the fact, after you finish Resident Evil 4, I didn't even tell you this, but after you finish Leon's story, Ada actually has a campaign as well in Resident Evil 4. So yeah, you'll get to her as well in Resident Evil 4 as well. So legit, like, I didn't tell you that. Yeah, there's actually 2 campaigns. So yeah, you'll get to that. But yeah, I'd still keep it. I think you'll probably agree with me with S tier. I think I think it'll be fine. All right. Balalaika from Black Lagoon. Now
I don't remember.
Now I don't like she was the one that Revy Rock and all of them worked for and whatnot. And I said, like, the one thing that I do remember from her is that, like, she was like, for me, like, she was like the anti-hero equivalent of if Johan was more of an anti-hero and not as sadistic as he was in Monster, then like I feel like that would be Balalaika and whatnot. because like with Revy, who's like very more chaotic and whatnot, with like the way she deals with things with a gun and whatnot, Val Laika is the type of character from like I legit like, and things, it's been forever since I seen like Black Lagoon, but I still remember Val Laika's character a lot from the way she carried herself. Because the thing is, she went to war, she like went through a lot of stuff and whatnot, and she was at the point now when you meet her where like she's this terrifying enigma where she could kill someone with just like the move of a finger and whatnot. She has that much power on her and whatnot, and just the way she like, and like this is one mode that like really that really sums up her character the most, is when like she's like sitting down at like the park area, and it's around the time where it's the arc with those children characters. It was like these two like children characters who were like a big factor and whatnot, and then like these were like sadistic kids who were like killers and whatnot, and like one of the kid characters, like she was just like talking them down, literally no movement whatsoever, just like talking her down, making that kid know his place and whatnot. And then like he didn't care, and he just like started going after her and whatnot, and then like just out of nowhere, boom, just like a gunshot to her hand, literally just like decapitating this kid. And legit, as he's just crawling, literally this dead body, literally blood coming out, his arm is literally off of his hand at this point, just crawling, and she's just telling her to like just know your place in this world, just like kneel. It's just like just something about that aura around her character and that mystique that was really well done, that for me personally, I would actually say I would give her an S tier. But if you don't remember that well, I give her an A tier from like what you don't remember and whatnot. But for me, I think her mystique and demeanor, or the fact of everything else, that like I wish we got even more of her. But from what we got, I can tell that she was such a terrifying figure. But what do you
put
think?
her in A tier? Because you did say you wish she got more.
Yeah, I'll say A tier for me. I'll keep it at A tier. I think A tier is fine. All right. Archer from Fate Stay Night. I'm curious, what do you feel about and whatnot? Because technically he was the anti-hero during Unlimited Blade Works, and from what he did character-wise and whatnot. Because like right now I'm debating on like a B or a C, because like the one thing I really do like about him is that like, because the thing is, I couldn't stand Shiro Emiya, the orange-haired dude and whatnot. So to find out by the end, there's no spoiler for Face 9 if you haven't seen it. 3, 2, 1, just skip a minute ahead if you don't want it. The fact that he was basically Shiro Emiya, like a future version of himself and whatnot, and like he went to the past so he could kill Shiro Emiya to make sure that he would never exist, and like the reasons and the way he did it and whatnot, because Shiro always had this idea of being a hero of justice and whatnot. I couldn't stand that side of him and whatnot, and like the way he was and whatnot, and the reason he did and whatnot is like once he became that hero of justice that he wanted to become, you saw he became such a better character than the Shiro Emiya of the current timeline. I couldn't stand and whatnot, because like he realized that like all that was going to happen was just going to lead to nothing but suffering at the end of the day, and he was going to eventually watch all the people they cared about die, to the point where like it would have been better off if he just never had this pointless goal to begin with. But I'd say I'm like the more I say it, the more I'm leaning towards like a B. But how are you thinking?
Yeah, we can give him a B.
Okay. All right. Dr. Tenzo, I believe, from Monster. I really like his character. Even from like the little bits that I've seen of the show, I really like his character, and like he's such a realistic character that really makes Monster as good as it is on top of Johan. I feel like he's just as important character as Johan when it comes to how Monster is and whatnot, because like his reasonings and the things that he does are really understandable for why he does it and whatnot. I know you probably have to have more of an opinion on it, considering that you finished the show and whatnot, but from what I've seen and whatnot from Monster and whatnot, from like the way he the way he just wants to make things right and the way he just wants to atone to his own sins that he created in the past, for me, I'd say S tier. From everything I've seen thus far, I feel like he's just he seems like someone that really makes up the show, and really what gives it that such realistic and atmospheric tone of realism that like that not that many shows do. But what are you saying so far from someone who's finished all of it?
I was definitely feeling the S tier by the end of the show.
Okay. So no complaints. Okay. All right. Staying for My Hero Academia. I'd say, for Staying for My Academia, I did like everything that he did from when he was there and whatnot. And I will say, like, in the manga, he finally like shows up again and whatnot. And I do like that, like, his message of the way he looks at heroes and whatnot does have a huge effect to a lot of the characters. Like, and the thing is, like you don't realize how big of an effect that he had in the hero world until literally you realize, especially after like now it's kind of biased. I'm just going by anime form just because like I don't want to like put the manga in this and whatnot. But you realize that like all of the things that Stain did have such a big chain of events that led to like what happened to what happened to All Might, and everything that happens in the everything that happens with like all of the new villains showing up was all due to Stain. And the one thing that does kind of put him down for me though is just the fact that he didn't have that much screen time in the anime. So I'd say I'm leaning towards like B from how it is right now. But what are you feeling so far?
I'd give him a B.
Like, you give him a B? Okay. Okay. Shinjiro from Persona 3. Now, this one's also.
See, I want to give him a B. I didn't like how he went out.
You didn't like how he went out? Yeah. I'd say B's fair. I'd say yeah. I definitely say B's definitely fair on that regard. All right. So this was going to be interesting considering the choices that both of us made in the game. Marcus from Detroit becomes human. I'm curious, what are you thinking so far? What are you feeling towards Marcus's character after what you did in Detroit becomes human?
I felt like he was around the A tier. The A tier, yeah. I felt like he was a good leader overall.
I mean, yeah, I'd say I was leaning towards A tier as well, but like I feel like my reasons are completely different than your reasons and whatnot. Cause like the way he went out was a lot more bittersweet in comparison to your ending. Which, what was your ending again? I thought, if I remember correctly, your ending was when he ended up like kissing North, and it was like, wait, stop, this is beautiful.
Yeah, that was my end.
That was that. Oh my. See, for me, if I got that, not gonna lie, if I got that ending, I probably would have put him in like the B tier. But like the way he actually went out, because the thing is, my Marcus died in my ending. My Marcus actually went out, because the thing is like there was like, because the thing is I went out literally, it was a straight up war in my mind and whatnot, and it legit was like this whole little thing in the rain where like legit like everyone started getting killed off one by one and whatnot, where like he legit was like the last person standing, and he just went off. He just went off until he was the last one standing and make sure he got as much people as possible. It was like he went straight up moderate until the end, until it finally caught up with him, and then he finally just went down, and then he just like went down finally, and then just died and whatnot. And it was such a badass scene that like that really culminated. Even when he went down, it was like still like a powerful scene that like I'd still give him the A tier for that. Now, there's someone I actually thought that I actually took off the list because I know you didn't get that far, but a child from Genshin Impact. I mean, I'd say for me, from someone who's played it, I give him a B, and I think you'll probably give him that as well. Like, I feel like there was a lot of stuff that was really good about his character, but I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of him later on. That like I feel like later on, he legit could be an A or an S tier character later on in the show and later on in the game. That like, I feel like he has potential to be a lot more later on and whatnot. But yeah, are you fine with that? Like look wise, just character wise. Okay. All right. Hachiman from Yaharigori. I know you probably have a lot of opinions on this one. What are you thinking right now?
I was thinking S tier. S tier was well deserved.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I mean, character development and everything from like season 1 through 3 and whatnot. Yeah, definitely deserved. This is also Bird from Zanky No Care. I'm just gonna put him in trash can already. All right. Anyway, all right. Next. All right. Cinnabar from Land of the Lustrous. Ooh, it's really. See, I'm trying to. I can't. I'm looking at towards the anime, and from the anime point of view, I still really did like her character because it was understanding for how she was and like the way she looked at like everyone else and how she looked at herself was really realistic and really like understandable. Like you understood her grief and why she was the way she was and whatnot. That like even not counting the manga, because like manga I probably would have given her an A tier, but like from how she is, I'm thinking B tier. But how did you think about Cinnabar from the Land of Lustrous?
Yeah, I give her a B tier. I don't see why not.
All right, now I feel like we're gonna have so many good. I feel like we're gonna debate on this one. I know, and the thing, and I'm proud this character. I knew we were probably gonna debate on here. For me, I'm willing to debate on the B. But what are you thinking about Bort? Because here's the way I see Bort. Okay. See, I know like your problems with Bort was because you felt like she was like she had kind of like she kind of felt like stuck up, and she kind of had like this kind of like prideful nature about him and whatnot, and she kind of like felt like she was like above everyone else and whatnot. But here's the thing, I kind of see her very similar to like Kageyama from Haikyuu and whatnot, because I understand characters like that very well, and like the type of way they look at the world and whatnot, because the way they see it is that like they're so it really goes to like the really prideful characters and whatnot, where like she has a lot of pride that like she doesn't, because the thing is she cares about all of them. She cares about all of like the people in her life and whatnot. She cares about Fall. She cares about Cinema. She cares about every single one of like the crystal gems and whatnot, and everyone in her family. That like she has to look at. She puts herself on this pedestal because she feels like she's the only one that can hold that weight and burden of getting to that point. Or else if she falls, then the whole thing falls and whatnot. And she doesn't want anyone to hold that burden and that weight, because she doesn't want anyone to put themselves
by the anime or the manga.
I'm going by the anime. Like legit. I'm not putting the thing. I'm sorry right now, if it was the manga, legit, Cinnabar and Bort would be A tier for me, because they do become even better characters in the manga and whatnot. But like for everything like the way Bort is as a character, I understand those type of persons, because the thing is, I know I'm somewhat like that as well. I'm not as prideful, but I do have that type of pride when it comes to like the way I look at the stuff that I do, where like I put myself on a certain pedestal, because not just because I want to get to that point, but because I care enough about the people in my life that I can at least be that inspiration, and that person that can lift other people up and make them stronger as well. So like that's the way I see it and whatnot. So I kind of see her as like a Kageyama or like a Bort, and like Bort, where it comes to that pridefulness that can help pick other people up and whatnot. What would you say for that debate? What would you say from putting her in the B tier? What would you say for that? All right, that's what I'm saying.
She'd be in the B tier if it was BS. But the thing is, I don't know. I just couldn't feel her at all. I mean, her demeanor, her personality, how selfish she was, and how like everybody mostly all the females were mostly just kissing up to Bort, like, yes, whatever you say. And it didn't hit me as hard as like Kageyama did, where we at least got to his past and he talked about how he had no one. Well, about how he at least came to that realization that he was pushing everybody away. That's what made him change, that he came to the realization that he was pushing everybody away. Where with Bort, it just felt like I didn't see any realization at all or any desire to change. She just kind of like stayed the same. So I didn't really see that growth to put her higher.
Okay. Let me hit you with this one thing. Okay. Because I don't see her as a selfish character at all. She's actually, I see her as a really selfless character, and that's the reason why I do understand why certain people do like like put her on like a high pedestal and whatnot, because she doesn't put herself on a high pedestal. She just does it because she's like, suck it. She's stuck there. She feels like she has that responsibility to. And the one thing that really shows that she does like actually do care, she's not as selfish as you think she is when Foss came back and she was a lot stronger and whatnot. She ended up becoming partners with her because she saw that potential in her that could become stronger and whatnot. She felt like that she could be she could become something more, because even though like Foss became like even stronger than all of them, she knew that like, oh yeah, just because you're powerful doesn't mean that you have the skills to use that power and whatnot and make herself stronger and whatnot, because she wanted to build her up and whatnot. But that being said, I'm fine with giving her at least a C tier, just because I know there's still certain things not feeling with her, but I still think at the end of the day, she was a lot more selfless than you think she was, because of how she did want to build them up and whatnot. Or would you say that's fine enough would you say that's fine enough for a C tier at least?
Yeah, give her a C.
Okay. Revy from Black Lagoon. For me, like I said, just like Rock, I said A tier, because for me, I said it was two different types of anti-hero. And for me, like the main thing I remember from Black Lagoon was about like it was about like a Revy and Rock. Those were the three things I do remember from the show, and I felt like Revy and Rock's dynamic really did build the show and was like really good. And like, even though I haven't seen Black Lagoon forever, I have gone back and looked at a lot of like clips from like Revy, like Revy and Rock scenes and whatnot. And looking back, they were a lot better than what I remember, because the thing is, I liked them in the show, but then looking back, they hit me a lot more looking back at it and whatnot. And I realized just how good both of these characters were and whatnot. Because the thing is, like, watch the show, like, I thought Rock was maybe a B, but then going back and listening to some of the speeches and some of the things like both of these characters really talked about, because they were two sides of the same coin that was like, it was really good. It was really good. So I definitely say that Revy's an A tier as well. But what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, put her at A tier.
Yeah, okay. Chloe from Life is
This is
Strange.
S tier all the way, man. Yes, sir. S tier.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Chloe is not. All right.
She surpassed everyone.
No. Okay. I have a lot of
Trash
feelings towards Chloe and whatnot.
I was thinking trash can.
Oh, you was thinking trash can?
Yeah.
I think she was terrible, but like I do, but there were a lot of things that did kind of irritate me with her character that I was at least going to say I was going to give her like a C, just because I felt like there was a lot of I feel like especially in the beginning, she gave a lot of blame to like Max and whatnot in the beginning and whatnot. But then like I felt like at least like slowly as like the game went on, she did develop a little bit more to like understand where Max was coming from, to the point where I did kind of care for her, but at the end of the game and whatnot, even though I did sacrifice her, instead of Arcadia Bay, that like I at least did like that dynamic well enough that I don't think she deserves trash can at least. Like, I can definitely say that I at least liked her a lot more than Bakugo, and I at least felt like she was a lot more of an interesting character, and I cared about her a lot more in comparison to like someone like any of the other ones below the C tier list, like Blackfire or like Bakugo and everything like that. But what are you thinking right now?
Okay, yeah, we'll give her a C. I mean, she wasn't completely dislikable.
All right, Mugen from Samurai Champloo. How are you feeling towards Mugen right now? Because I don't think S.
I'd give
but
him
I'm
an
like
A.
debating like an A. Yeah, I was debating like an A or B right now, because there was enough of him from everything he was in the show that I really liked. That I thought was good enough. So yeah, I'd say Mugen was an A. I'd say Mugen was definitely an A. All right. Dante from Devil May Cry. See, for me, I'd say from the because I'd probably give Dante an this is like, because I'm debating on an A or an S, because I know like he really had a lot of good cause like from Devil no, I'll give him an A just for Devil May Cry 2, just for that one. But how you feel about Dante? Because for me, for someone who's played Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5 in the anime and whatnot, I felt like there was a good amount of development for him that like he did learn a lot and there were times where like he realized that he had to get more serious when it came to certain things. Like it was really and things I did like his goofball persona, but there were times when he really did get serious that were like really good and it really did hit me to really make him like stand out more on the list, even though I do like his brother more. That he still deserves like an A tier. But how you feeling about him?
Yeah, I say he gives an A. He deserves an A.
Oh my god. You know what? Screw it. I realized I forgot Virgil. All right, if Virgil was here, he'd be an S tier, but it is what it is. Oh my god. Why did I have Dante but not Virgil? All right, anyway. All right. Eclipsa from
Trash.
Star vs. the Force of Evil.
Trash.
Eclipsa. I expected
You got a
so
debate on
much
it?
more from Eclipsa in the show. I legit thought, I thought they were really building her up to be the main villain of the series. Cause after Toffee, cause after Toffee, cause the thing is, they really built, cause the thing is, I don't know how you were, but like legit, they built it up in the next arc because after Toffee, cause Toffee was the main villain up until season 3. And then once he went away, then like, cause the thing is like Star's mother made that deal with Eclipsa that like, oh yeah, if once she deals with Toffee, I get my freedom and whatnot. And once Toffee was defeated, she knew to like, oh shit, now Eclipse is come back and whatnot. And they legit had that whole cliffhanger where like, oh yeah, when she like went there, when the mom came back, she was gone. And it was just like, oh shit. Oh god, she's been released and whatnot. And even when she did get released and whatnot, and she did have like this nice persona and whatnot, I thought she was manipulate. I thought she was going to manipulate them and whatnot, and then we was going to see her real persona and whatnot. But then it was just like, nah, it really wasn't as much. She really was just kind of just in love with a demon, and that was really just the reason why she was like, she was a powerful sorcerer, but it was really just the fact that she was like in love with an evil demon that like made her like. Made her like such a taboo person to all of them. So that being said, I didn't hate her completely, so I'd say at least D tier at least. Like I didn't think she was terrible, but I did feel like she was disappointing enough for her to be a D. But what are you thinking? All right. How did you think about Eclipse? Did you not have any potential with her? She was like, like you just didn't like, from the moment she showed up, you didn't think anything of her.
I didn't think anything of her.
Really?
My expectations were super low.
Even when Star's mother was talking to her, and like she was like, you heard like the backstory about how she was like the worst sorcerer there was and whatnot. You still didn't think anything before she got released?
Nah, I mean, I felt like they teased it too much to the point where I just kind of like gave up on seeing potential, seeing something was gonna happen.
You gave up before she even showed up.
I just didn't see anything.
All right. It's fine. All right. Eddie from Ed, Edd n Eddy. You know, funny thing enough, like, I mean, he has egotistical moments and whatnot. He did have a lot of funny moments that, like, I mean, I'm fine with saying like a B at least, but like, what are you thinking for Eddie?
Talk about B as in boy.
Oh, what are you thinking? Yeah. Did you not like Eddie's character?
Wow.
I mean, from the scams he did and from the way he was in the show, I felt like he did add it to the Eds. The thing is, I like all the Eds dynamic because they all worked off of each other and whatnot. And I feel like legit, like with the scams and all of the planning and whatnot, we wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for Eddie. He was the de facto leader and the one that like that always had the schemes and whatnot. I felt like good enough that like as much as he had like those moments and whatnot, I do like his like the most he had. I'd say like I thought he was like. And the thing is, even in the movie and whatnot, he like really did like when you found out about what happened with with his brother and the way he was and whatnot, it started to make, you know what, I actually think he's an A-tier character. After really looking at Ed and A Big Picture Show and really looking at the way he was and whatnot, after seeing how his brother was and seeing that it was a lot more, and I legit didn't expect it already. It was more of like an abusive relationship, and like how he saw his brothers like this big deal and whatnot, and came up with all these lies and these things about his brother to make him think that he was this big hotshot, to make everyone seem like he was cooler because his brother was cooler. That like I can understand why he was the way he was from the beginning, why he wanted that attention, and why he wanted people to see him as such a big hotshot because of the way his brother treated him and whatnot. So for me, I'd say A tier. I feel like, and I really do feel like he did develop as a character as it went on, especially at the end of the Big Picture Show and the movie and whatnot. But what are you thinking though for Eddie?
Well, after that movie, I did see a lot of growth. So yeah, I don't see why not put him in A tier.
Okay. Akechi from Persona 5. This was an interesting one because in the original Persona 5, I would have said like D tier. But after Persona 5 Royal, it's crazy how much they developed him so much better. It's like legit when Persona 5 came out, I was like, all right, what are we gonna fix? All right, Akechi, we're gonna build him up to be one of the best characters in the damn game. And like, I'm debating between an A or an S. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling more towards the S. It was well deserved.
You know, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Akechi getting an S tier. I'm fine with him 100% getting an S tier from everything that went on and whatnot. Yeah, from all that development, because I did not expect him to get any of that development, and the fact that they were able to turn someone who I really didn't care about to probably one of my least favorite characters of Persona 5 and flip him that drastically. It was crazy how he ended up becoming such a better character. I really would have been curious for you to play Persona 5 and see the Akechi in that version in comparison to how Royal was. Because, like, it's insane how better of a character he became in Royal. Like, it's, like, shockingly insane. But, all right, anyway. But, yeah, S tier, 100%. I think it's well-deserved, especially considering that flip. But, all right, Grimjow from Bleach. I'd say
maybe a B.
Yeah, I was thinking B. Because like there was things about. Funny thing enough is I thought he was about to say A because I was already thinking B. What made you think of the B? Because I was already thinking B, but I thought you liked them a lot more.
It was mostly that loss to Ichigo.
Oh.
When he lost, it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, you could beat him without transformation, and now when you transform, you lose. What is this?
I mean, there was, I'd take B. The thing is, I didn't even really care for Grimjow anyway that much in the show, and like seeing him get murked by like the blinded wave and they get his arm cut off. I'm just like, oh, okay, like he was just like, I didn't even see him like. If anything, I feel like the manga is what really made him like a better character for me and whatnot. But B, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's really fair. All right, now they have Gain from Bleach.
I feel like he was just a C or a D.
Yeah, same. I'd say that as well. I was just like, I thought he was going to do a lot more being like Aizen's right-hand man, but he just didn't really do anything. I felt like he was wasted potential, I feel like that's the best way I can describe him. For that, I'd say, yeah, I'd say D. Yeah, I think D. I think D would be. I think he was a D. All right. The science dude from Bleach, the professor, I forgot his name. He was such an interesting character. I'm really debating right now. Cause the thing is, there were things that really did like intrigue me about his character, but how are you feeling about him? Cause right now I'm like in a B or C category right now. But like how are you thinking of that?
I'll give him a C.
See, yeah, I think that's fair. I will say he did a lot more to intrigue me, a lot more than Gain did. He definitely was like, I knew he was going to be like one of those. Yeah, I'd say C. All right. Eris from the Crim Fetch. I'd say just for how memorable. She was memorable. I'd say C, just because she did have a lot. Just because when she did have an episode, I remember all of her episodes. So I said that's a given and whatnot. Plus, she was somewhat attractive. So like, I'm thinking C, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, C.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Eustace Kid from One Piece. Huh. Now, have you caught up with One Piece when he comes back?
Yeah, I did.
And how are you thinking about him right now?
He's like a CB material right now.
Yeah, I was
Mostly
thinking
because
that.
how they did him. He was just, they showed him he was just like murked by Kaido. He
Yeah.
was just like on the ground. I was like, huh?
I'm thinking
He got murked so easily.
Yeah, I'm thinking somewhat of a C, because I feel like the one thing I can at least give to Fog, I'm glad because I like to Fog a lot more than Eustace Kid already, so I'm glad that they at least like, okay, at least they didn't do my boy dirty like that, even though he did have some moments that were like, but I feel like with Eustace, they had they didn't even give him like an arc. At least the Fog had an arc with like the whole Doflamingo stuff and he had like a whole backstory and whatnot, but with Eustace, they didn't really do much with him right now, so I'd say C. Yeah, I'd say C is fair. All right. So now we have Ikkaku from Bleach, and I'd say I at least give him the A tier. I'd say he was definitely out of all the lieutenants, he's definitely like the best lieutenant. Because the thing is, every single from each moment in Bleach, I'm looking at this from a character standpoint, not even from like a from a show standpoint or whatnot. And there really wasn't every single scene I could think of for Ikkaku from Bleach. There was nothing I really like. I never had anything against any moment that he had in Bleach. I feel like every single moment he had in Bleach, it was always a moment that like I was like, oh yeah, it was just like, yeah, I thought he was a cool character. I thought he had like really good moments. It caught me off guard when he actually had a Bankai. He was one of the first lieutenants to ever have a Bankai. He had some really good fight scenes, really good moments, and like character-wise, like this person's personality, and then like I thought it was. I have no complaints with him. It's one of the reasons why I consider him probably like the best lieutenant in the show and whatnot. But like, what do you think? Okay. All right. Okay. Professor Stein from the hell Soul Eater. That was the name of it. Now, it's been a minute since I've seen Soul Eater, but like I do remember really liking Professor Stein. But how are you feeling about him so far?
I was gonna give him a B.
I was thinking B as well. Yeah. From what I remember, I really did like his character, so I feel like a B is like fair. I think it's fair. All right. I forgot to do his name from K Project, but he was probably one of the most memorable characters from K Project. So, what are you feeling about the dude?
Why not give him A? All right, you feeling more B?
Cause the thing is, I mean, I'd say he actually did have some really good development from, especially in and he's probably like the only character that had development in season 2, considering like he joined like the I think it was the Green Squad or whatnot, and then we found out he was actually double Asian and he was actually still in the Blue Squad the entire time, and he actually was like loyal. So I mean, I mean, what are you feeling more B or A? Like, because I'm conflicted right now because I really don't know. So you know, in comparison to everyone, I'll probably give him B, just because I feel like with all the other characters in A, I have like really good cohesive reasons. I remember a good amount of stuff from them and their moments that I feel like deserve A in comparison to him. So I probably give him B. All right. Gajio from Fairy Tail. Probably by the end of the series, probably one of the only characters that I still liked in Fairy Tail. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually debating on like a B or an A, just because of the fact that I felt like out of all the characters, he was the only one, and it's one of the reasons why he still ended up becoming one of the only characters like the Fairy Tail. He really kept developing. He developed in a really good character, has some really good transformations. He had some really, especially when he went like the Shadow Iron Dragon transformation and whatnot, where he had like some really good fight scenes as well at the end of the day, and he had some really good like moments that like really like, I felt like he was the only legit like literally one of the only moments I kept watching Fairy Tail. Like, one of the only reasons I kept watching. So, for me, the more and more I think about Gaijo, I'm thinking A tier, just for the fact that I felt like he was like the one gem in a pile of copper from all of the other characters that I felt like he's the only one that didn't diminish. Where I feel like a character like Ursa from Fairy Tail kind of slowly diminished, where I feel like he had the opposite, where like he just ended up becoming better developed. All right. Now back to it. We have Hostel Gato from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of my favorite episodes actually have to do with Hostel Gato. From like all the episodes, like there was like one where like Erwin like wanted to become tougher, and there was like one where like he like helped him become like a lot more tougher and whatnot. And then there was like one where he was like, and I remember he had a lot of fight scenes as well. He was kind of a badass. So I'm not gonna lie, I actually think he's probably one of my favorite characters, and I would actually put him in B tier from everything he did. And I feel like every single episode he had in the show was actually like one of the better episodes and whatnot. So that's I'd say B. But what do you think?
I'd say B. I ain't got no complaints.
All right. Ooh, this one's an interesting one. Terra from the Teen Titans.
See, growing up, Terra was bae. Terra was always bae.
I'm debating on an A or an S, because she did have probably the best arc in the Teen Titans series, because her development and everything, and she's like, from how she was on the Teen Titans, how she couldn't control her powers, how Slade took her in, and how she like turned on Beast Boy. Oh man, that had me legit as a kid. Oh man, I felt so bad for Beast Boy. I felt like it was so tragic when she went with Slade and whatnot. But I legit was really emotionally invested with that arc. You know what? I might gotta give her an S tier. Because looking back, I was really emotionally invested in that arc and whatnot, where I really wanted Beast Boy to save her. I really wanted them to bring her back and whatnot. And the fact that she was like a one-woman army, like murk some of them by herself was really like a huge thing back then and whatnot. So I'd say I'm thinking S tier. But what do you think?
Yeah, I got no complaints.
Okay. All right. We have Hekapu from Star Wars: The Force of Evil. She was an okay character. I don't really have anything to complain about. I feel like I'd say C. I'd say that at least, because I feel like for her, I at least say I feel like she at least had some better moments. I can remember a lot more, even in comparison to Tom. So I feel like I would say at least C. But what about you?
Yeah, I got no complaints.
Okay. All right. This one's gonna be interesting. I'm curious about your take. Hit from Dragon Ball Super. Now, for me, when it came to almost all the characters in Dragon Ball Super, I feel like Hit was probably one of the most original characters, and probably one of the most different characters we've had in a while. For when it came to the characters in Dragon Ball Super and whatnot. And I'd say so far, from like his fighting style and from his like design and look, design I didn't think much, but like from his fighting style and personality and everything else, I felt like it really built him up to be a lot more cooler and whatnot. But how do you say you're feeling about right now? Because right now I'm debating on like a B. But where are you at right now?
I was gonna give him an A, but
an A? I mean, what? Where would you see him as an A? I mean, like.
But then I'm thinking about everything with a Tournament of Power.
Mm-hmm. If you can convince me enough of why you think A, then I'll put him at A. I was just like, I feel like from everything in internal, like kind of like you said, like Tournament of Power, I felt like I felt to be, but like I don't know, I can be convinced. I was already debating like a B or an A or whatnot, but like I'd say B is fine. But what do you think? You still think B, or you still think A or B? Like what are you still thinking?
I say we could.
I feel like you're like going up and down. It's like, you're like, you know what? Yeah, but maybe. I feel like you're like going up and down between B and A, right?
Yeah, we could put him in A. Yeah, we can put him in A.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I feel like he did have a lot. He did have like, he probably was like my favorite new character in Dragon Ball Super. But I say it's fair. Yeah. I'd say it's fair. I'd say it's fair. Okay.
What about Goku Black? Wasn't he a fan?
Oh, we don't talk. That's a whole. Well, he'll probably be on the tier list eventually. As a matter of fact, he might be on the villains tier list. Don't worry, we'll get to him when we do that. All right. But all right. Anyway, Harley Quinn from just any Batman series whatsoever. I mean, there were a few times in a bunch of different moments, like especially like Batman the Animated Series, where I had a huge crush on Harley Quinn and whatnot. But like I feel like it's a flip of a coin depending on like when it comes to Harley Quinn and whatnot. Depending on like
how'd you feel about her in the Arkham games?
In the Arkham games, I had such I had some good moments and bad moments with Harley Quinn. I felt like I was kind of disappointed in Arkham Knight because I thought she was gonna do more since like oh, excuse me, I almost choked. But I felt like I thought they were going to do a lot more of her in like the Arkham Knight, especially after Joker's like, spoiler alert, Joker's death in Arkham City. But they really didn't do much. Like I thought she was going to go a more darker route, because like the thing is like the one thing that they did do was in Arkham City after Joker's death, there was like a DLC. Did you play this? Because they had a DLC where you played as Harley Quinn, and like she like you see like how she acted at the end of in this DLC was how I thought she was going to be in the Arkham Knight. I thought it was just going to get a whole thing about that and whatnot, because like she like her entire face paint was like, it was like black lines on it, which was a lot more darker and gothic in comparison like her like usual makeup. It was a lot more darker and whatnot. And like during this DLC you like play as Robin, and like she legit like captures Batman. How did like, and that's an achievement in itself. She captured Batman by herself in that Arkham game, and Robin had to come to save the day in that DLC. So I thought we were going to get something like that, but I'd say even though she didn't do much in Arkham Knight, I'm still thinking at least maybe a B tier at least, because I still really did. I really did like her character enough, and I do like her dynamic and whatnot. But how are you feeling about Harley Quinn, especially from like the Arkham games and whatnot?
That's fair. I give her the B tier.
Okay. All right. Ooh, Spinelli from Recess. I'm thinking like an A tier for Spinelli, because like she was one of those like anti-hero like delinquent kids that like, she was kind of like the cartoon equivalent to like Sam from iCarly, where like she was a delinquent but she was realistic about it as well, where like she would like, oh yeah, like whenever like no one would mess with her, and like if anyone was messing or like bullying someone, like there weren't really that many bullies in the school of Recess because Spinelli existed and she would beat up the bullies. And that's just mad respect for that and whatnot. And like for like every episode she was in, I felt like she had some really good episodes and whatnot. I felt like even when like,
I forgot, did she get together with anyone? I can't.
There was a moment in time where like it was a small little thing, but it didn't become like a long-term relationship where there was like a little thing between her and TJ, the main character and whatnot. It was a little small thing. Matter of fact, they even kissed. There was actually a little small thing about that. I think literally after the kiss, like, oh, and then they just cut it off after that. I was just like, I don't know why I remember that, but I just thought it was funny. I was like, it took the kiss, and it was like, yeah, nah, this relationship ain't gonna work. But yeah, I'd say A tier. I think that's fair. But what are you thinking?
That's fair.
Okay. All right. Ooh, this one, Red X from Teen Titans. A tier. Yep. I was thinking that. I was already thinking that, because he did have some really good moments. Like that was really good. That's some really good moments. All right. I already know where this will go. All right, Itachi S tier. I'll put him up there. Yeah, 100%. Yep. All right, we just already get out of that one. All right.
That chair.
Is that sitting in that chair menacingly? because even with him not having, even though I wish he could have had more screen time and had more moments where he could have like faced off other people, for what he did do and what he did mean for like for his backstory and everything that he went through and whatnot. He was a big top tier character for what he's literally the epitome of an anti-hero, depending on like what he did and his reasons for like the slaughtering of his entire clan and whatnot, and what he went through and what he had and all the baggage that he had to keep in order for Sasuke to be a better person and whatnot. But yeah, 100% deserved. But all right, so we have the car dude from Durara and whatnot. I know he has a name, I just can't think of it right now. But right now for him, I really like this character, and I'm actually thinking, because like he was one of the people I never had complaints about. I'm debating on an A tier, but what are you thinking about this dude?
I'd say A tier. Well deserved.
Yeah, because he seemed like he was I got no complaints for A tier and whatnot. All right. This one's gonna be interesting. Jet from Avatar.
Sorry, I don't remember him. Nope.
You don't? Really? From like he was the one where like they had like the whole like freedom fighter group in Avatar in like season 1, who like and then like he was like this like cool like freedom fighter dude. He wasn't even a bender. He just had his whole freedom fighter group who like protected like his like village against the Fire Nation and whatnot. And then he like turned on everyone and said like, oh no, in order to stop the Fire Nation, we have to break the dam and like flood the entire village and whatnot. Which in truth would have ended up killing not only the Fire Nation people, but all the people in the village as well. But he had this like way of looking at like sacrifice and whatnot that was very like, that's where the villainous part of his character come in and whatnot. And then in season 2, the Earth Tribe season and whatnot. During that time, like he came back, and there was like this whole thing between like him and Zuko where they were like friends for a while and whatnot, until he found out that Zuko was a firebender and whatnot, because he hates firebenders and whatnot, and he pretty much tried to stop him and whatnot. And then he ended up like, I don't like, they never said whether or not he died or not, but like something happened where he ended up getting like murked and brainwashed, and then when like the crew stopped him, he like went down, and they're like, all right, you guys go, I'll stay here, we gotta deal with the earthbenders coming in and whatnot. It was weird, but like from what I remember, I liked him well enough, but I wouldn't say it was to the extent of someone like Zuko or anything like that. So I'd say I'm fair enough for giving him like a C tier. I think that's fair enough from everything he did. I felt like he could have done a little bit more, that he could have been higher for me, but I'd say C tier would be fair enough. Do you think you fine with that C tier?
Yeah.
All right. Now this one, Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. I will tell you right now, if this was the manga, he would have gotten like an A tier, and depending on which, it could have been a bit. Like I haven't read the manga in a while, but I heard a lot of good things about it from the later arcs, but I feel like he could have even been an S tier. But from how he is in the anime, the best part about him was that heel turn in season 1. And then everything else was I'd say at least a C tier. He could have been like, from what he is in the manga, it's such a disappointment. It was like a disappointment like Eclipsa, but this is a disappointment because in the manga, he actually is like A tier and S tier material. So I'd say C, but what are you thinking? What are you thinking right now?
Fair enough.
All right. So now we have Kiritsugu Emiya from Fate Zero. See.
I'd say A tier.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking A tier. Because from the way like the fact that this was Shiro's father, and Shiro didn't learn anything from him because he was such a better character. And I feel like he's what made Fate Zero as good as it was as well. On top of a lot of things in comparison to Fate Stay Night, like 100%. The way he looked at the world, were like, he was willing to go the extremes in order to make the world a better place. Where like if you give him an option between like, all right, there's a boat with 100 people and a boat with 200 people. One of them has to die. Which boat are you blowing up? And he would blow up the boat with 100 people because 200 people weighs them out. Like he'd be willing to kill his own his own daughter if it meant it would save a million people. Like, he's almost like the opposite of like Joe when it comes to that. Where like if killing Ellie was going to save the world, he would have done it. He 100% would have done it because that's the way he was. He looked at himself in a very selfless light, but he would also like, he would be willing to go to extremes to like get what he wanted and whatnot. And it did cost him. It cost him. It not only cost the lives of people he cared about, like his mentor, but it also cost the life of himself, like later on and whatnot. But yeah, definitely like A tier. All right. Vlad Russo from Bakano. Do you not even remember him from Bakano?
I do.
Okay. And how did you feel about him?
I thought he was interesting.
Because right now, Vlad Russo, I'd say from how I felt about him, I'd say A tier, just from like, because the thing is like, if you look back, he was a huge trash talker, and the way he was fighting and whatnot, he was just like, I remember a good amount of him and whatnot, and he just had that. He just had that pretty much like, he kind of reminded me of Grimjow, except he didn't get murked. That's the difference, where he was just like, it was just like, he can't kill off unstoppable, and literally the only one that was able to like, was able to like take him down was Chris Stedfield and whatnot, like the train murder and whatnot. Matter of fact, debating on that might make him higher now I'm thinking about it. The fact that I kind of liked him more. But for me, yeah. We'll do that when we get to the end of the list. But like, yeah, I'd say Vlad. I'd say he wasn't A tier. He was a huge trash talker and a good fighter and whatnot. And he was one of the few fighters in this list that was actually more hand to hand than anything. He was just a straight up boxer. So what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this one's gonna be controversy. Okay. Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. From The Last of Us in general, but Part 2 and Part 1.
She got weak for me. Her character development, she got weak.
Like, and you didn't finish Last of Us Part 2, right?
Yeah, I didn't finish.
Yeah, you didn't finish. Okay, I finished it. And I felt like the ending pissed me off. And I'm just gonna, do you want me to tell you the ending of what happened?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, spoiler alert, so anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled, like, you can just skip, like, about, 5 minutes in, because I'm probably going to be talking about this for a while. So, basically, at the end of, The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie, at the end of it all, she basically, like, a lot of people, like, at this point, like, she like, there's a point where, like, when you take control of Abby, where Abby finds Ellie, and then you have a fight scene. And this fight scene already pissed me off anyway, because, like, you didn't have the choice between whether you could play as Ellie or Abby. No, you played as Abby, and you legit had to go after Ellie and whatnot. And, like, a few times I just let Ellie kill me. I was like, what if the game keeps going if I die? Like, nope, game over. God, I gotta actually fight her? All right. So, like, you fight her as Abby, but Abby actually lets her go and whatnot. She's like, no, don't you ever mess with my crew again. Like, Ellie, like, runs off and whatnot. And then a time skip happens, like, a few years down the line, and now Ellie's kind of, like, trying to forget the past and whatnot, and is now, like, in this little, like, little house with her girlfriend, basically. And during this time, she can never sleep, she can never eat, and you can tell that she's getting a lot skinnier, and you can tell that she's really getting, she's still thinking about killing Abby. That lust for vengeance is still in her head, and she just can't stop thinking about it. It's still bugging her and whatnot. And like, her girlfriend is telling her to forget about it. We have a life now. We have a family now. We can forget about all of this and whatnot. And Ellie's just like, I can't. I gotta end her. I can't. It's too much and whatnot. And then like, the girlfriend's basically like, if you go out there, I won't be back when you come back and whatnot. And Ellie didn't care. She was just like, it is what it is. And she still win. And then like, she like end up walking off and whatnot. But that's not the thing that pissed me off. What pissed me off when we get to the moment, Ellie confronts her again, and we get to the final fight in the game, where Abby and Ellie fight. We get the fight scene, but this time you're playing as Ellie this time, and you're actually hunting her down and whatnot. And it's like, this is actually a really good fight scene. Really good fight scene in the water and whatnot, just hand to hand. You see they're both like bloodied up and whatnot, and then you see her like take her on the ground, grab her. They're like in like this little like water pond area and whatnot. They're like, it's like 2 feet deep, so they're not like all the way in the water and whatnot, but like fighting in like the puddle of water and whatnot. And you just see like, just like Ellie like choking her down in the ground, and you see her like, you see Abby losing oxygen, and you see her like drowning in the water and whatnot as she's choking her down, and she's like, and then Ellie lets her go, She's like, just go, and she lets her go. after all of that, after all the things that Ellie did, after the thing is, like, after I'm not even mad at the fact that, like, oh yeah, like she like let her go because like vengeance is wrong or whatnot. The thing that pissed me off about the fact that Ellie let Abby go is that, think of all the stuff. I know you didn't finish it, but you did play a good amount. Think of all the stuff Ellie did to get to that point just to kill Abby. She killed almost every single member of the Wolves, Abby's factions, a pregnant lady, and every single else that could have been possible, and dogs too. Literally, she went through an entire army just to get to her, and literally even sacrificed her own girlfriend and like said like, no, I gotta fight her. And then like after all that she sacrificed, after everything she went for, she just lets her go. The biggest motivation that she had for the entire game, and the reason why Joel's dead, and the reason why she went through all this shit in the first place, and she just lets her go. And at that point, I just felt like, what was the point of even going through this journey if you were just gonna let her go at the end of the day? And that's one of the reasons why I do give respect for like Kogami, because he knew that he went through enough shit to the point where he knew that he wasn't going to let that white-haired dude at the end of season 1 go and psychopaths. But Ellie went through even more than that. Ellie literally went through hell to get her hands on her and then let her go at the end of the day. And I felt like the way her mind was set and the way her mindset was set, I felt like that was poorly written. I legit, like, I'm not even saying that from a character standpoint, I'm saying that from a writer's standpoint. There is no way in hell that a person would go through all of that shit just to get to that person and then let them go. So for that, I still liked her enough, but I say that was at least a disappointment enough for me to give her a D tier. But what are you thinking right now?
D tier.
All right. But at least with that terrible taste out of my mouth, we have Lelouch v. Britannia from Code Geass. Now I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I think this is a straight up S tier. Lelouch v. Britannia is one of the greatest protagonists of all time, and legit, he is one of the few main characters that without him the series would not have worked. He was the series, and legit, his mastermind. He was basically like Yagami, but better, because he still has his humanity. He developed as a better character, and he had one of the best endings in anime history with that sacrifice. He knew what was going to take to make it a peaceful life, so he made himself the absolute worst villain possible just so he could be slain and the world could finally be at peace. 100% Lelouch v. Britannia, S tier.
So he's basically Itachi.
Like, basically like Itachi was like, if Itachi was the main character of the entire show and actually had that whole screen time. So yeah. Basically. So yeah, S tier, 100%. All right. And Marceline, I already brought her up before. I still think she's an S tier. I'd still say, you know what, actually, I'm gonna say, as an anti-hero, I'm gonna give her an A tier. As a waifu, I give her an S tier, but as an anti-hero, I felt like she had a little more, I feel like as she developed later on, I felt like she had a lot more good moments that I wouldn't say she would kind of lean off the villainous moments to the point where I couldn't completely consider her an anti-hero. So for that, I'll just give her an A tier. Still think she's an S tier waifu, but for an anti-hero, I'd say A tier. But what are your thoughts on that?
That's fair.
All right. And now we have Makoto from K Project. Okay, look. For Itachi, I can still understand giving him an S tier because of everything that he did. Because even with his death, there was still a lot of weight to his character and whatnot. But I would say right now, all right, I would at least give, like, Makoto for me, I'd say at least is a B tier because of how he was.
What about A?
No, I'd say
he
no.
deserved it.
Because after everything he did, he literally sat in a prison, and I know the reason why, because obviously he was gonna die anyway. But that still doesn't change the fact that he did not really do much in the entire show whatsoever, except for like the first 2 and 3 episodes, and then at the end when he came back just to die, that was just a waste of a death for me. That was just such a waste of a death for me that there was just no way.
He didn't have a choice.
Just
He had to die, or the world was gonna end.
just because he didn't have a choice doesn't mean it doesn't change the fact that he still died with wasted potential, where we could have gotten a lot more for him. Like, for me, it's kind of like how you see like Shinjiro, where like they didn't do much with him at the end of the day, and like they could have done more with him, where it didn't feel like Itachi were like, oh yeah, after his death there was still like this baggage and there was a reason for it and whatnot that like held the series together. That's why like his death lingered on throughout the rest of the show and whatnot. You really felt that, where like even though people was emotional for Makoto's death, it didn't really feel like as extreme as like Itachi's felt. It just felt like, yeah, we get it, he had to die, but it wasn't like, as from a writing standpoint, I felt like they could have done more of that. They could have done more of his character before ending it all. Like, maybe if they had like, oh yeah, the first season you're like Makoto's the main character and he goes through all this stuff, then season 2 we find out that he has to die and then gets killed off after having all that development from season 1, then I probably would have put him in A tier, maybe even S tier if we got that moment. But they did it in the first arc and we didn't even get that much about him. Nah, I can't see it. I'd say B tier. But what are you thinking after all that?
Think about this. Think about how they made Anna the main character. No blood, no bone, no ash. Was it that intimidating? No blood, no bone, no ash.
Yeah, I'm done saying B tier.
Okay.
I can't. All right.
Fair.
Okay. This was the Crow from Dead Man Wonderland. Yeah. Yep, that's him. Okay.
I'll give him
I'd say I.
But then again.
Oh, what were you thinking?
Nah, he deserves an S. He deserves.
You think he deserves an S? See, the only reason why I was thinking A is because I feel like. See, I read the manga, but I'm not even counting the manga. But I really did like his character. That's the reason why I still say A tier. But like, I felt like I wanted more screen time of him, and I just wanted more of him.
He did have his screen time.
He did.
He had a full episode to
An
himself.
episode. Yes, and that's why he's A tier to me. But I feel like for all the S tiers, I feel like every single person I see in S tier thus far had a good amount of screen. Look at everyone else in S tier. They all had their screen time. How much screen time did this man have in comparison to all of them? I gotta go with an A.
But he had his own theme.
So did Tsukishima, but that's not the reason he's on the list. He had a whole arc. I gotta say A tier. Like, once we get like, hopefully they do a season 2, because like I heard the manga's really good and whatnot. But like, I do want to read the manga at some point. But once we get more screen time of him, then like he can definitely be on an S tier. Because I did like his character, but like I'd say A tier for now. You still fighting on that S tier? Because
oh no.
Okay. All right. Greed from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, looking back, I'm
surprised you didn't put Mustang in this. The guy who kept burning that girl, who kept snapping his
I wouldn't consider Mustang. I felt like I said Mustang legit. Like I said, I brought this up like Leon and Levi. I felt like Mustang was leaning way towards the heroic route for him to be looked at as an anti-hero more, because like even though like he was like burning the girl to death and whatnot, he was still like, she was still a villain, so it was still like, yeah, he still was like looking at things from a way of justice and whatnot, even though he did have some really good moments. He's a really good character and he'll end up being on another list at some point, but anti-hero, I didn't really see it like that. Where with Greed, he definitely was an anti-hero, considering he was one of the...
I almost got him mixed up.
Wait,
I almost got him mixed up with Pride. I was gonna say he's on the wrong list.
Oh, Pride! No, Pride! No, Pride will be on the villain list. He'll be there for Greed was the one who like he took over Ling's body, and then he what was the next homunculus or whatnot. Technically there was 2 Greeds, but the most memorable one out of the Greeds was the second Greed, the one that ended up taking over like Ling and whatnot. And I'd say from the screen time that Greed had, I say like in comparison, like, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't put Greed 1 on the list is because like Greed 2 actually developed as a character, and I say that's thankfully because of Ling and whatnot. I felt like he had a really good dynamic with all the other characters that like he did things for like he started doing things for like a really selfish reasons, but then like he eventually did like, because the thing is he did it for a selfish reason, but he still was like actually helping out the crew and whatnot. and he had some really good fight scenes as well. And I'd say like at the end of it all, he like really did like he really did like developing and like became like a really good character who like really like cared about realized that what father was doing was a terrible thing and wanted to like stop him and whatnot, which is why like I'd say A tier, because he even that sacrifice, because at the end of it all he like sacrificed himself in order to save Edward and all of them and whatnot. So yeah, I'd say A tier for Greed. I'd say he really like, out of all homunculuses, I'd say he definitely developed the most as a character and whatnot. I feel like that's like the best way of looking at an anti-hero and whatnot. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. All right. Kite from Akira no Sora. Just from, I know you saw the whole thing, but just from that scene where he murked them people, I'm debating on like an A or a B.
I feel like he deserves to be an A.
All right. That's fair. So you say even with like watching the series as a whole, you still say like an A tier? You didn't feel like he dropped? You feel like he was still like a really good character?
Yeah, I still feel like he was like a A tier by the end of the series.
Okay. Yeah, I got no complaints to that A tier. All right. Yato from Noragami.
I'm feeling S tier.
I know you was thinking that already. I was thinking A, but like, would you say anime wise you would still consider him an S? I still think he deserves to be high up there, but I don't know if like anime wise if it's A or S. But like, I mean, if you can convince me, then I'm just like, then I'm fine with putting him in S.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel it. I mean, his past, how he grew from like killing people to actually being like having a normal heart and actually being like friendly with like Fiori and like that yellow haired guy, and then his growth development. And I feel like even though he went to the good side, they didn't make him completely soft in the show, even though he is a good character, because he still has those killer instincts to where he can just swap sides at the flip of a coin when he needs to. Because if you think about it, he could have killed Bishima right there if that was his intention all along.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what? Actually, like, because now I'm remembering a lot of things from Noragami and whatnot. And looking back, there actually was like, and I like also remember that moment where like he like held in that like negative energy or stuff that he was like holding in when the yellow haired dude was like he was like being like pretty much irrational and wasn't like working with him and whatnot. And just seeing him fight through that and seeing him go through all of that and still like trying to like make it work was like, really? Yeah, you know, I'm fine with S tier. Yeah, I got no complaints with that now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. All right. Alucard from Hellsing. I got at least put him in A tier. Like 100%. 100%. Alucard was such a good character. Like, you motherfucker. All right. Yeah, definitely. You got no complaints with that?
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Nicholas D. Wolfwood from Trigon. You saw Trigon, right?
Yeah, but my memory's kind of vague on him.
See, for me, I think Nicholas D. Wolfwood is an S tier. And let me explain for that, since you don't really remember like that. Yeah, he was like, what? You're shocked about that?
I didn't think he was gonna get that high. Look at all the people in A tier for a second.
Legit, Nicholas D. Wolfwood was such an interesting character over the fact that like he was. Cause the thing is, he grew up in the church, but like the way he looked at the world was completely different than how like a regular, like you would think he would be like, oh yeah, it's just like a Jehovah's Witness. No, I wouldn't do this because God wouldn't let me. But nah, he looked at things in such an interesting way, and I think like also. Spoiler alert, and you can skip 5 minutes ahead if you want to get another spoiler alert. His death was probably for me like one of the most memorable deaths in anime history, because he was one of the few people that like I ever saw like didn't want to go. He didn't feel like that was his time, and he felt really irritated about that. And like I feel like he was a huge he was a huge motivation for the main character Vash as well, he looked at the world, because Vash, the main character, didn't feel like he never would take an innocent life, and that was like his code. He felt like killing was wrong and whatnot. And Nicholas D. Wolfwood, being a church person, being someone who literally like God like in like the religion always says like, oh yeah, killing is wrong and whatnot. He made me not only look at like religious people in a different way, but he made me look at like the way you can look at God in a completely different way, where he said like sometimes it's necessary for the greater good if they're just going to cause more suffering and harm to other people, that like you have to get your hands dirty, and sometimes you have to become a sinner in order to wipe out sin and whatnot. And that's the reason why his gun is literally based off of like a cross and whatnot. He has probably one of the coolest guns in anime history as well, with like that like cross gun and whatnot that also has multiple guns inside of it and whatnot. And he was such a realistic character as well, where like it made me not only look, I'm not even a religious person, but he made me look at like religion in a completely different way, and the way he looked at the way he wasn't just such a generic like person when it came to like the way he looked at life and God. That it felt like he was one of those characters that stuck with me. And like for me, I definitely say like he was one of those people that I felt like I think he deserves S tier. That's just why I see it. But what are you thinking?
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. All right. Soifon from Bleach. You were just on her. I mean, she had some good fight scenes. I really did like some of the fight scenes she did have though. I mean, I'm thinking like maybe like a C?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Roberta from Black Lagoon. Do you remember this character? Okay. So Roberta from Black Lagoon was literally the straight up Terminator in this entire show. Literally, there was an entire arc based around her, literally trying to kill Revy in Black Lagoon. Literally, like, and legit, she was a legit badass throughout that entire arc. The only reason why I would put her in the B tier only because I still think Revy was a better developed character personality wise, but from fighting wise, she was like a monster in that show. She legit was like an unkillable badass. I've never seen like, whenever you think of like a maid character in an anime, you just think of like, oh, like that cutesy maid character. She was like she was like an unkillable Terminator in the show. She was actually kind of hot as well. Like you look at her, like there were some moments where like when she would take those glasses off, you saw her like like sadistic face. It was not only kind of badass, but it was kind of hot. So you know what? I'd say B tier at least for Roberta, because she was like such a she was a huge
There's another maid in Gintama.
Oh, there is? Oh. Don't worry, I'll get to it when I finally watch Gintama. But yeah. All right. Roanoa Zoro from One Piece.
S tier?
Yeah, I was thinking S tier. Yeah. After everything he did, like definitely like S tier. Even with any of the other past arcs, he's definitely still S tier material and whatnot. Just for that one scene alone, for when he took all of Luffy's pain and he just took it. That just for that moment alone, he 100% deserves an S tier rank, because that's the absolute epitome of like a right hand man. All right. We'll see what you think. All right, Princess Mononoke from Princess Mononoke. All right. Because all right. So what you think of CD?
I was thinking maybe CD.
All right, I will compromise with a B. I will not dare put her in a CD ranking. What did you not like about Princess Mononoke? It's not like she wasn't like, it's not like she was like a princess whatsoever. She was raised by wolves. She was a savage. She had her moments. She was like, what? What were you not feeling on her?
I give it.
I give it a B, but legit, I'm just curious. Like, what you have against her or anything? Like, I'm just curious now.
That's not that I had anything against her. I just wasn't really invested in her, I guess. I just thought she was like, okay. She had that lover thing with that guy, and I was just like,
That was barely even a lover thing.
I love you.
Can't remember you told. She didn't even say that. that legit was like, that was barely. That's why I'm wondering if we watched the same movie. Because legit, I'm legit wondering where you got all this lovey-dovey romance stuff from. Obviously, there was some romantic chemistry, but the way you talked about it sounded like it was like the main factor of the movie, and it wasn't at all. It was about literally the whole like factor of the movie was like man versus nature. That was like the whole thing, like humankind versus Mother Nature. That was the whole thing. But somehow he was like, yeah, it's just like a romance. It was like a love thing. I was like, huh? I was like, what? All right, but yeah, I'm fine with being. I'm fine with being. It is what it is. All right. Sasuke from Naruto and Naruto Shippuden.
And trash.
Trash?
Gotta go to trash.
Legit? I legit actually. Really? You would say straight up trash can? I mean, I was at least gonna be nice and like give him like maybe a C or a D. Got me like. I just and look, one of the main reasons because like the only reason why I say is because like there was that one moment like I think it was like after the pain arc where he was kind of a savage and like when he killed like the like Dunzo, I think his name is, who became the new Hokage when like Tsunade went to, like in like that eternal sleep for a while, and like Sasuke just like straight up came there and killed.
He became a hero.
Exactly. He just straight up murked him, and he almost killed Sakura as well. I was like, you know what? I mean, I give him those moments when he was kind of because that was one of the few moments where I didn't like him as a character. So I feel like I think he would at least deserve a C at least. I mean, ending aside, it was just like, because for me, I was thinking B or A during that moment, but then after everything else with the Madara stuff and then everything else, they're like, I'm gonna be Hokage.
What do you mean? That comment alone gave him S tier material.
That was terrible. That was terrible. The only thing that kind of boosted up a little bit as well was also the final fight between him and Naruto. As much as I couldn't stand like that whole like arc, besides like Madara murking people, I at least say the final fight between Naruto and Sasuke was good. So for me, I'd say C tier. But what do you think?
See,
I mean, if you're at this point, I'll go D. What are you thinking?
I feel like I want to give him D mostly because I feel like just some of the things in the show he just didn't deserve. Like when he killed Itachi, even though it was scripted to happen because Itachi wanted it.
Yeah, of course Itachi.
I at least wanted to see that make Sasuke into a stronger character. But even after he killed Itachi, it felt like he got weaker because he got beat by the 8-tailed beast, and then he was struggling to fight the Hokage.
You also gotta remember the 8-tailed beast also end up being Naruto's next mentor. So it would be kind of awkward if the 8-tailed beast got murked by Sasuke and then end up being Naruto's next mentor. So I didn't really see that Sasuke being weak. I saw it more as like the 8-tailed beast being strong because he was the one after Jiraiya died where he was the one that ended up like teaching Naruto how to control his 9-tailed fox basically.
But the thing is, it wasn't a good loss. That's the difference. See, there are bad losses, and then there are good losses in anime where it's like, oh, he lost, but I respect him for that. Remember this one, I'm just like, he just got straight up marked. And even though he kept getting healed by that redhead girl, where he was like sucking on her or whatnot. Yeah. He still got marked. So I just felt like. So I just felt like,
all right.
And then he got with the worst character in the series as well.
I forgot he got with Sakura. All right, never mind. DT. I forgot he ended up with Sakura. I'm legit. Now I'm debating on trash can after
That's what I said.
I'll put him in D. I'll put him in D. I'll put him in D just because he did have a few moments, just a few. He wasn't that terrible. Like, and the only reason why I say D is because in comparison to like Bakugo and the other two on the list, I felt like he did have moments. All the other characters they did was just So I'd say D. That's fair. But the moment he said he got with Sakura, I was like, I forgot about that. Yep. I already knew where this was going. All right. Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
B tier?
I remember liking his character, but yeah, I'd say B. Because I remember liking him. I don't remember liking him as much as Greed. So I'd say B tier would be fine. Yeah, that's cool. Shizuo Heimajima from the Ra. For me, S. For me, I got legit S. Like, unless you have anything to say about that, I think Shizuo was a straight up S tier for me.
How come Celsi didn't get on the list?
I wouldn't consider her a complete anti-hero. I felt like she had moments that came off more good than villainous. That I felt like she was more. If anything, I should have been putting the Doctor, the one that Celsi was with, on the list of comparison. If anything, looking back, he probably would have ended up on the list. But I feel like Celsi was way more heroic than, because there were a lot of moments where, like, especially when Izai was like causing some shit, there was a lot of moments where Celsi just tried to stop some of the stuff Izai was just causing, just because like a bunch of, like, whenever there was chaos, she would usually be like the one that would usually stop the chaos around the town. If anything, she was pretty much like the dark protector of the city. Basically, she was the one that pretty much like protected and defended the city, really. So that's the only reason why I feel like she didn't deserve anti-hero. I feel like she was more towards the protagonist side of things. So, like, well, we probably save her for the protagonist list. Yeah. She. But you have anything against Shiz will be an S tier though?
No.
Okay. All right. Catwoman from the Batman series. I mean, for me, I would say A tier, but how would you say you feel about it?
I was gonna give her a B.
I mean, are you fine with me giving her an A? Because I felt like for her at least, I felt like, obviously, like move wise, fighting style and whatnot. I felt like, and it is discovered for someone who's also watched the series and everything else with Catwoman in it, not just like the Arkham games and whatnot. I felt like she was the only one, because Batman's had a lot of love interests throughout the entire thing, and I felt like, just like Ada Wong, even though I like Ada Wong a little bit more, I feel like just like Ada Wong, like, she kind of has that, she's like that one person that, like, that you can never see like Batman not be with this person. She's like, she's that bit of chaos that, like, Batman needs to keep him sane, and like no one else can understand. I don't think anyone else could ever understand Batman as well as she does. I felt like they both are like two sides of the same coin. I feel like their dynamic is what kind of makes, in my opinion, what makes Catwoman a better character, I feel like. And that's kind of the reason why I like Ada as well, because I feel like Ada and Leon's chemistry also is what makes her a better character. So I felt like that also adds on to it. So that's why I feel like an A tier is like, I think it's fair and whatnot. All right, but Speed Sonic from One Punch Man. It's been a minute since I saw One Punch Man, but what are you thinking?
A C
or a B?
C, yeah. I'd say. What you thinking more? I was thinking C, but it's been a minute since I watched One Punch Man. So if you could tell me something that you feel like is B worth material to you, then like I'll put him in B. Like,
I'll give him a C.
C? Okay. All right. The Rowdy Rough Boys from Powerpuff Girls. Oh, we're getting to the good stuff now. I mean, I will say this, as a kid, like, even though I did enjoy
good anti-heroes.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's why we're going by anti-heroes. We're just going by how good they are as anti-heroes. I will say, like, as a kid, looking at Powerpuff Girls, even though I was a fan of Powerpuff Girls, I was kind of somewhat of a closet fan, only because it's just like, I mean, they're all kind of girls.
Closet?
They're all kind of. I was like, I say a closet fan where I didn't really tell that many people I was a Powerpuff Girls fan, because I always saw it somewhat of like, oh yeah, because like the main characters were all girls. So I'm just like, it's just like, does this count as a girl show and whatnot? But then the Rowdy Rough Boys came in, and I was like, yeah, these are my Powerpuff Boys. Yeah, I got Powerpuff Girls for me now. So like, just for that, I'm like, I'm debating to like an A or a B, like right now.
Awesome.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we could put him at A.
Hey, I mean, I'm fine with that. I like, cause like they really were.
But why not S?
S. The only reason why I won't say. I don't really say. The only reason why I won't say S completely isn't really because I have anything against them. It's really just because I felt like all the other S tiers, I feel like have a good reason for why they're S tiers. They have something big that holds them. Right, the Rowdy Rough Boys, they were just like, oh yeah, they were just like that. They were just that. Now you're making me think, shit. I'm like, you know what? See, okay, I gotta think of it this way. There wasn't really any big moments that the Rowdy Rough Boys did in the show for them, in my opinion, to correlate them being an S. I feel like with all the other S tiers, I can think of like them like really having a big moment where like the Rowdy Rough Boys, they were here and they had some really good episodes, but I wouldn't say there was a big moment to really qualify them for like S tier in my opinion. So I'd say A. Yeah. All right. Hollow Ichigo from Bleach. I'm already like debating like an A or an S right now because this is literally the best version of Ichigo. So I'm like, what are you feeling right now? Because legit, like any single moment I'm thinking of like Hollow Ichigo, like I'm thinking of like literally like all the best moments came from him.
I say S.
You say S? I got no complaints with that. And I feel like legit some of the best moments for Ichigo, literally, even when Ichigo became like really generic. I feel like whenever I feel like Ichigo was become like a generic character, I feel like Hollow Ichigo would always save the day and make him look better and make him look like and bring out the best in him whenever there's a moment that like it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere and whatnot. Kind of like that fight with Ukiyor and whatnot when he like brought out his like full Hollow transformation and whatnot, went like berserk and whatnot. So yeah, I got no complaints with S. All right.
How come we didn't put Zangetsu
on
this?
I mean, I don't really say. And plus, like, all right, tell me, what did Zangetsu do throughout the entire series, not counting the manga at all?
Well, for that count, the manga, never mind.
Exactly.
He is a anti-hero. Remember the rain?
All right.
I hate the rain.
The rain. Because of the rain. He had good speeches, but I didn't even clarify him as that it's like a character really until like the manga at least. So nah. All right. The dude who was with the main character's sister and who went out with Ray's sister in Trigasu no Light. The music face.
Oh yeah, he made it on the list. I'm shocked.
You the one who told me to put him on the list.
I didn't know who he was till you told me.
You told me to put
I thought he was from Baccano.
All right. Anyway, well, let's get this one out. All right, I think he's B tier at least because like when he did show up, it felt like a big deal. But I felt like they could have done a lot more with him, and I felt like he could have had, if they at least given him an arc where he actually did a lot more, then he probably would have been higher on the list. But I will say his presentation was really good when he came out and that music hit, and then like he really showed off and whatnot. But what are you thinking right now? Because I just think B.
Yeah, I give him a B.
Okay. All right. Danny Phantom, the female Danny Phantom from the Danny Phantom series. I mean, character-wise, when she did show up, I really do remember.
I just know her based on the looks.
And she really was. I say B only because she didn't have that much screen time. But I felt like if she had more screen time and they actually did a lot more with her, then I definitely feel like she could have been like an A at least. But yeah, what are you thinking? Okay. All right. I never thought I would see Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan on this list from season 1 through 3. But man, has season 4 done him well because I'm legit thinking S tier for Eren Yeager. I legit think that character development throughout the entire series that led on to that turn in season 4 is insane. It's almost like how I felt about Akechi from Persona 5, for how much they took a character that I didn't really care for and really developed them and made them so much better in a way where it made sense to the character. Because it makes so much sense for the way Eren sees everything and what his motivations are and whatnot. They're very much to his character, and it doesn't feel like it's off. It's like, no, this doesn't make sense for season 3 Eren. No, it makes complete sense for the way he's acting, the way he is. And like, I'd say 100% he's S tier. I never thought I'd say it, but yeah, Eren Yeager, like I'd say it. But what do you think?
Yeah, without a doubt.
All right, I forgot his name. He's from Classroom of the Elite, the main character from Classroom of the Elite, basically. I give him A tier only because of the cliffhanger. Only because we still didn't get more. We didn't get the payoff after the execution. And I feel like that's the one thing that didn't leave me off. It was like I felt blue ball by the end. I felt like what this is like we got the moment and he wasn't really a good character throughout the show, but we didn't get more. Like legit Classroom of the Elite, if they did it right, could have been even an S tier show. If we actually saw that development of him as a character and how he truly was, but we didn't. So for that, I'd say A tier. I'd say A tier. What do you think?
Yeah, A tier.
Okay. All right, now we're at the ultimate end. All right, Vegeta, Prince of All Saiyans, S tier, without a doubt. I don't think anyone's gonna complain. The OG anti-hero, legit. Like, I don't think anyone can say otherwise. Like, Vegeta, without a doubt, is anti-hero. Do you have any complaints with that? You think a trash can? Like, I don't know.
Nope.
No, of course. All right. Bardock from Dragon Ball Z. And I forgot about it because I was like, wait a minute, because he was an anti-hero. So what do you think about Bardock from Dragon Ball Z from everything so far? Because I'm leaning towards the A tier at least, but how are you feeling?
I give him A tier.
Okay.
I know in Xenoverse I gave him the S tier.
What did he do in Xenoverse?
He went Super Saiyan 3. He went one-on-one. He trapped himself in the universe on purpose to fight Miro, and to fight some other people. Like he intentionally trapped himself where it's like, now it's just me and you. No way to go and no way out. So I did give him a lot of points in that.
I mean, I like that moment, but at the same time, it was just like, he was kind of like, that moment was good, but then after that, it was just, that was it. We just never saw him again after that. So I was like, huh? It was kind of like the screen time thing where it's like, oh, snap. And you're like, huh? That's it? And then we never saw him again after that. There was nothing else he did after that moment. Because before this, he didn't really do much either once that moment happened. And then that was just kind of it. Because before then, he was just like the Masked Saiyan and whatnot. And even as the Masked Saiyan, he really didn't do much. But that's just the way I see it. I still think it's A tier, but I'm just like, those are just some of the complaints I have like Xenoverse 2 and whatnot. And also on top of the fact that Xenoverse 2 is basically the same game. But all right, anyway. Prince Zuko from Avatar. I already think it's straight up S tier, but if you have any complaints, you can hear them now. Like Prince, Zuko.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think he's S tier? You don't think after the development he went from book 1 to book 4, all the way up to how he developed into like the main villain in the beginning, to slowly becoming the anti-hero, to slowly becoming like on the side. You don't think he deserves to be? You don't think he deserves to be on S tier?
No, I agree.
I mean, the only reason why I asked because you sounded conflicted when I said it. That's the only reason.
It's fine.
Like if you,
my memory's kind of hazy. My memory's hazy from Avatar.
Oh, okay. Literally, since Vegeta, for me, like since Vegeta, I have not seen an anti-hero as good since like Prince Zuko was the last person since Vegeta where I've seen a really good anti-hero. So like when he showed up and he had that arc and everything that he did, it was a big deal. He was almost like the modern day Vegeta with how he was portrayed and how his arc was throughout the series and whatnot, because he had so many twists and turns and so many good speeches, so many good moments and so many good fights that like legit, like he legit was the Prince Vegeta of the Avatar series basically. All right, I forgot it. Rise from High School DxD, what are you thinking, man? Yeah,
S tier.
S tier, got you. Top rank. All right, let me drag it all the way down trash can and throw it away. Matter of fact, top tier. There we go. All right.
Next.
All right, the dude. All right, the dude from Gintama, not Gintama, the dude who voiced the dude from Gintama.
Yeah, I'd be convinced. He do look like him.
He do kind of look like him, but he was like, no. The dude from Food Wars, the one of the he was like, I think it was like rank 9 of the Elite 10 and whatnot. But yeah. What are you thinking for him at least? I'm thinking maybe
I'm actually leaning towards, huh? Wait, what'd you say?
All right, what do you think? I was gonna say a B.
What'd you say?
I was thinking of a B. I said, wait, you would say higher than a B?
I'd say higher than a B.
All right. What do you say? Because I said B. What are you thinking?
See, I was debating between A and S, but
All right. Well, if
the
you're
reason-
thinking S, what in any sort of way does you think he deserves to be? Look, I want you to look at all people in S tier and tell me what moment in Food Wars do you think this man deserves S tier in comparison to every?
see, I like. Okay, maybe not S tier, but at least A tier because he did.
I hear y'all.
I felt like he was what Gin should have been in Bleach, where he got his own arc, and I like how he had his own theme as well, where he like, I mean, see the reason why I give him somewhat of an S tier as well, because I did like him as a villain. He became the main villain of the series for a whole arc, where he felt like what Gin should have been in Bleach, where he was like bending the rules, or he was like cheating the rules to win. And it made you hate him as a character even more because he was such an underhanded player and the Food Wars and whatnot, and like how he was like cheating, and how he was like shutting everything down. And he was like getting stuff done more than the actual villain of the series, if that makes sense. Like he already had his whole plans laid out, and he was like getting stuff done back after back. And I ended up liking him more than I did. I mean, I ain't gonna say he's like top tier villainous, but I definitely give him like. I'll put him up there around the A.
All right, you convinced me enough. I'll put him in A. I think that's fair. You made some fair points, so I'll put him in A. Okay. All right.
You mean S?
It's me. No.
I'm playing.
When you said that I dragged him in trash can, I dragged him back to A. All right. Rio from Food Wars.
Trash.
The fuck you say? Nah. You ain't about to do this to my character. You ain't about to do this to him.
You about to throw my character to trash?
I put him back in the A though. Nah, at least with Rio, for Rio, even though he didn't win, at least he had some good fights in the entire show. At least he had some big moments.
Oh yeah, I like.
He had a lot of big moments from
I like
and whatnot. Yeah. But me, I'm fair enough to give him a B though. I'm fair enough for that rank and whatnot. Cause he didn't do much in like season 3 or whatnot. Even though he did win his fight and whatnot, I'm fine with giving him a B and whatnot. All right. But and now we have the tan dude from Food Wars as well. See, he had. See, I remember. What are you thinking of him? Because I remember he was an okay character during that time when it was the fight between like the main character Rio and him. Even though I was rooting for Rio to win, he ended up winning instead. And I was like, okay. It was but then when he joined the Elite 10, he did have some good moments as well when he did join. After that,
I give him a B.
See, I was thinking B, but at that point I'm putting Rio in A then because I don't think they're in the same category. I think Rio was a way more cooler character. So I'll put him in A. All right. Kevin from Ben 10.
C.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, there really is a name. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, Kevin. He was an okay character. All right. And yep, now we're at the final one. All right, Lee Everett from The Walking Dead. What are you thinking right now? Because for me personally, I'm thinking S. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I see why not. Yeah,
because I'm just saying, for everything that he went through in the first season, and from everything he did, and for everything he did for Clementine, I can't see him. I can't see him being anywhere else for me. He's legit top tier for me. All right. So we got that was the entire list and whatnot. All right, now it just comes down to picking through this one now. Who do you personally think is your ultimate anti-hero? Who would you say was the one that hits you the most is the end all be all anti-hero for you? Ooh. I'm looking at Esther and I'm looking at all the Esters now and I'm like, shit, there's some good ones. See, I'm trying to weed them out by also looking at this from an anti-hero point of view. From their ways were very in the gray area. They had villainous moments and heroic moments where it was really in between.
I thought this would have been even more harder if we had somebody get some characters on. See,
for me personally, For me personally, I would say I would gotta give it to Lelouch for me personally, like for how I see it, just for the fact of like seeing him. See, I legit felt like, especially after watching Death Note, I legit thought he was going to end up in the same type of madness that Light had, but then just for how smart he was and how all the stuff that he went through, and just seeing how cunning and how much he really developed and didn't just give up. Because at first his entire reasoning for wanting to cause his war and like actually like stop and like save Japanese people was to like help his sister not only like live in a peaceful world, but then that whole thing changed when Nathalie ended up on the other side and like felt like, no, we can't make peace through this way. We can't make peace through this way. And it completely changed his way of thinking to the point where his goal had to be bigger than just Nathalie. It had to be bigger than just his sister. He realized that it was more than just that. And I like the fact that he developed to the point where it wasn't like, oh, wait, he's just doing this for his sister. But no, he has to do this for like everyone now. This is bigger than that. This is more than that. And that's when he slowly came up with the plan of like that sacrifice of himself. And I thought it was really memorable. And just the fact that he was willing to go that far, more than any other character was willing to go, to make himself the worst person ever. So for his death to mean that much, I'd say that's the epitome of an anti-hero, literally making themselves the villain to bring peace to the world. So for me, I'd say Lelouch is my ultimate answer.
But there's somebody right beside him who's the same way.
Wait, who? Oh, who would you say that?
Itachi was the same way.
What? And would you put him up there though? Like, I'm like. This on you. Like I said, these are up to our choice of art. For me, it's Lelouch, but for you, like if you think Itachi, you can put him up.
Yeah.
You'll say Itachi?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, okay. Or you say it like you already knew. I mean, if you wanted to say it already, you could.
I already do from the beginning.
Then you could have just said it. Then like I said, I don't know why you're holding off for me. I was still picking you. You could have just said yours. All right,
Still have time to
so
rethink this decision. Look at the list.
Yeah, right. I might put that dude in 4s and trash now. Let me see. I definitely will say Kled Stelfer. I have to think that, but real quick, I'm putting him in A tier because he was way more memorable than I remember now. But who do you think from Bacchanova? You don't remember it, so you wouldn't even know. But who do you think should? What are you thinking so far? Like, who do you think should deserve to be higher or lower, depending on?
I mean, if I put anyone higher, it's only gonna be because of the manga.
Okay. Wait, so you say you're fine with this list? It's like, I mean, let me see. Is there any... No, I'd say I'm fine with this list. But what would you say? I'd say, really looking at it, I'd say there's not really any other complaints.
Yeah.
You say you're fine with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I guess let me make sure. Yep. Oh, yep. I think trash can's fine. All right. Yep. I think that's it. Yeah. So that's the list right now. So we got our S tiers, our A tiers, B tiers, then we got our ultimate tier list, and the ultimate anti-heroes end up being Lelouch, Britannia, and Hitachi. So So I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, click that like button, and I think we can call it right here. So this is Michael.
This is Tavon.